Welcome to Talk of the Bay. I'm Christine Barrington. Well, First Fridays in Santa Cruz are special events which feature new exhibitions, open studios, live music, treats, and the happy faces of folks out enjoying original art across town. Tomorrow, January 6th, is our First Friday, and this show is not only an invitation for you to emerge out of your storm bunkers, but also a chance to highlight a couple of special exhibitions to inspire you to come out and help launch First Fridays for 2023. My first guests are both artists and important anchors for the arts community of this region. Melissa Kreisa is the founder and curator of the 4,600 square foot gallery Curated by the Sea, located near the Museum of Art and History right on Front Street, and which features dozens of local artists in a rotating exhibition space, providing community access to the best of our local and regional art. They encourage support for local artists by increasing their exposure and finding audiences and collectors for their work. So a shout out to Curated by the Sea, and Melissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting us today.
All right. My next guest is Dag. I say Weiser, but is it Weiser?
Weiser.
Weiser. Mm-hmm. Are you Weiser?
No, not at all. No.
No, Dag has been producing multimedia art projects in Santa Cruz County for 30 years, since 1976, when he helped create the first and only completely cardboard boat to compete in the annual Capitola Begonia Float Parade. Cardboard has been his medium of choice, and he's known around town as the cardboard guy. Do you like that?
Sure.
Yeah, you're the cardboard guy.
It's grown on me over the years. Yeah.
Now, you may know his work from various exhibitions from the Museum of Modern Art and History, or more popularly, for over 40 years on Halloween night, Dag's house on Market Street transforms into a one-night-only themed interactive pop-up art extravaganza. And right now at Curated by the Sea, you can enjoy his featured works with pieces from a wide breadth of themes, and you can also experience the incredibly moving interactive cardboard installation, the all-knowing, all-seeing eye. All right, welcome both of you. It's so great to have you
very
here.
Much.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Now, Dag, your exhibit has been open at Curated by the Sea, and it is closing tomorrow night, correct?
It is. Tomorrow night, the January 1st Friday, is the official last night of the show.
Official last night for the first night.
We will have 12 to 4 on Saturday.
Yeah.
We will still
okay.
have the exhibit.
So we want to just start off, listeners, if you get excited about what you hear tonight, you got a couple of days to experience this very special exhibit, which we're going to get to. So, Melissa, Curated by the Sea, you feature so many artists. And it's a new gallery, relatively new to this area. How was last year for you?
A roller coaster. Every year so far has been a pretty unexpected ups and downs. When we opened during the pandemic, and then we had the fires right away, the CZU fires. But this year, we didn't have any dramatic environmental issues to deal with, but it was still, Santa Cruz is still coming back from the pandemic, and so there's days that I get super excited about it, thinking, oh, I was busy today, and there's collectors coming in, and people are really serious about the art, and then some days, nobody. Mm-hmm. So it's a roller coaster.
Right, and so you support our local art community, and so we want to invite our community to support artists through your fantastic space.
Absolutely, yes, thank you.
And right now, you have 35 different artists in the front of the gallery right now? That is extraordinary.
It is. Well, the catalyst for the gallery was the incredible local talent we have. So I feel like we're just at the tip of the iceberg with the artists that we have in there now. I mean, some incredibly talented people, but there's just so much talent in the area. So it's not easy to fill the gallery with fantastic art. And just during the holidays, we just had the roster of gallery artists and asked folks to bring in art, and have some beautiful pieces on display in the front. And then Dag's interactive exhibition in the back.
Well, let's talk about this really cool exhibit. So when I came into the gallery a few months ago for First Friday, Dag was there, and there were a couple of these exquisite cardboard flowery columns, which, Dag, I understand, were at the Museum of Art and History, and they extended from the floor like all the way up toward the ceiling, right? They were huge.
Yeah, that was a pretty extravagant piece of art. It was 25 feet. It went up the stairway of the 3-story stairway of the museum. And it's kind of a sad story attached to that, where the COVID thing was just starting to really rear its ugly head, and everybody's freaking out and panicking. And I put the column up in the stairway, and 2 days later they closed the mall.
Wow!
They just closed the doors,
For
the entire year that was hanging. So nobody really saw it.
Right.
So,
nobody saw it in all its
and
glory.
Melissa knew that it was coming down, and she just said, "Bring it over to the Curated," which I thought was incredible. And
they literally walked it over on poles.
yeah, we walked it over.
it next door.
Yeah.
And it looked glorious in the window.
Yeah.
So it's not
I love
25
seeing it. For a while it was in the front.
Yeah,
in the front
we put it
windows.
back in the front.
You
Yeah.
did? Okay.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fantastic. It's
So
got
she saved it.
bees
She
and-
saved that. Very, very, very awesome.
We have a collector who's looking seriously at it, and to put into their fantastic modern house, it would work. But
Yeah, apparently
fingers
there's some
crossed.
house out there somewhere with
In Woodside.
25-foot ceilings that can accommodate that
Yeah, so
piece of art.
we're
So-
crossing
There's
our
plenty of
fingers.
houses like that around in
Yeah,
this area.
seems like it, yeah.
So how long did it take you to create that exquisite piece? I mean, it has bees on it, right? And
Has a lot of bees, a
flowers.
lot of different flowers. It took me a couple of months to make that. I don't work very fast, but I'm pretty methodical. But yeah, speed is not my forte. So took a while.
Plus
Well,
materials.
cardboard guy. Yeah, let's talk about your process a bit, because I mean, this is, it's a specialty, and you use this material that's kind of ubiquitous and incredibly common, and you create the uncommon with it. Tell us about your journey, how you got into it. We know a bit about the Begonia boat float. And,
Yeah, a good friend of mine, Gary Adams, and I were big cardboard. I think what has happened with me was I was moving, like lots of itinerant artists. I was just moving from house to house in Santa Cruz and taking all my art with me, mostly oil paintings. And I got really tired of doing that. And at one point I just had this really big art burn, and I just got rid of everything. And and that's when I started.
You didn't burn it.
I had a huge art bonfire. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Heartbreaking.
Melissa is like, she's in pain.
Yeah. I love telling Melissa those stories because she just kind of turns pale and
Cringes.
Breaks out in a sweat. I see the
breaks out.
beads
Yeah,
forming.
there we go.
It's
Yeah.
criminal.
But
That's
somewhere
so
along
symbolic.
the line, I decided I'm just going to start making recyclable art and make it and show it for a little while and literally recycle it. And cardboard just turned out to be the best medium for that.
That's what they say. It's recyclable.
It's everything that I do is out of cardboard. You can put back into the system. So it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah,
and in case you've just tuned in, you're listening to KSQD Santa Cruz on 90.7 FM. I'm Christine Barrington for Talk of the Bay, and my guests are Melissa Kreisa, the founder and curator of Curated by the Sea, the wonderful art gallery right next to the mall downtown. And it houses dozens of artists. It's like, if you love art, you've got to go there and experience this gallery.
You do.
And
Yeah.
yes, thank you. And Dag was nodding his
Yeah,
head.
absolutely.
And our other guest is Dag Weiser, who is an artiste and creator of amazing cardboard pieces and installations, which brings us to this very, very interesting Halloween phenomenon. Is it for 40 years you've been doing this?
Yeah, I think this year was the 40th anniversary.
Wow. Tell our listeners about it. I'm sure they'll pick up their ears.
I think it was in 1980 when I stepped out on the porch and on Halloween night, and it was just dark and nothing was going on, and I said, this can't stand. This travesty will not stand. You know,
Unacceptable.
And so next year, the household was full of artists. We just started doing a real simple installation, and it's just grown over the years. Every year, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Talk about a treat. Yeah.
Yeah, and and it's always been a one night only thing. I take it down that night too. That's part of
and where do we take it?
That's part of my Halloween ethos. You know, it's like it's never was there. You know, and then I met Melissa, and that all changed. Yeah. So
because he took it to the dump the next day. That was back to the.
Wow.
Yeah,
there's something horrifyingly magical about that. Like you create this stuff and people come enjoy it, and then you haul it away. There's sort of a soul cleansing quality to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And now Melissa's
like
just like she's messing up that mojo, and she's saying no.
Yeah, she's really screwed me up. One morning I woke up and I said, "What did I just agree to?"
It was a bit of pulling teeth. But we did it, and we brought it. Dag brought it all over. It was a couple weeks after Halloween, and then we started installing it. And you said to me that you really liked it in the gallery, and that was maybe the best compliment I've ever had.
It looks pretty epic from photographs. I'm going tomorrow night to check it out.
You.
Now, this is the all-knowing, all-seeing eye. Mm-hmm. And you created that for Halloween this year. Can you describe in detail to our listeners, what is this installation? What did you do?
Well, I want people to go down and see it. So everybody go down there because you have 2 more days to see it. But I come up with a different theme every Halloween, and this just happened to be the all-seeing, all-knowing eye was just popped into my head. Mm-hmm. And themes in the past have been very, very varied. Incredibly.
Can you name a few? Take us back in time.
I did candy one year, giant candy bars all over the place. Math. I did math one year. That was really scary.
Really, that is scary.
Yeah,
all trick, no treat.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and the undersea world. Gosh, there's just been so many. So many.
Do you have photographs, or do you just keep it ephemeral? And
I do. There's a website. It's called cardboardart.org. Okay. And you can see a lot of the Halloween stuff on that website.
Great.
Yeah.
Last year was really cool too, with the environmental theme.
Yeah, the last couple of years I've done, well, especially during the, I don't even want to say the guy's name, but when that guy was the president, I was really trying to do calmer Halloweens and had a series of really nice environmental monarchs was a big one, hundreds of fluorescent monarchs, and then last year was the penguins on fire, which was a lot of fun, So
he wasn't in office anymore, so you could turn up the heat, so to speak. That brings to mind that Shakespearean quote: "What this is hot ice and cool fire." Yeah, penguins on fire. That just.
It's taken me a while to embrace the Halloween thing. I mean, for years, I really tried to not be too open about it. I mean, it was like a neighborhood thing. Right. Even if it did take me months to make, it was really cool. Sometimes I just thought it was really cool if just a few people saw it, I don't know. I'm weird that way,
You're wiser that way. Because, hearing you say that, it just feels like such an antidote for the hyper marketing ethos of this time, where everybody's like, look at me, look at what I'm doing, and even if it's not significant, they're blowing it up. And you're doing something that's actually quite beautiful and precious and creative, and you're letting it exist, kind of like a flower that blooms for a day or two.
Yeah, I'm really into the ephemeral aspect of.
Plus, it's so inspirational, just both in the medium and from kids to emerging artists, to be able to think outside of the box, right, with your medium and how you're doing it. And part of the fun of this year is that interactive piece too. Like, people walk up and they take it really seriously, don't they?
Oh yeah, right? Yeah. So, you ask the eye a question, and then you go over to this it's kind of got this wheel that has kind of magic 8-ball answers, absolutely, or no way, and you spin the wheel, and it's kind of incredible how intimidated some people are
people be like,
by that.
Do I say it out loud?
Yeah, do I have to ask the question out loud? And some people would be like, no, I don't want to know the answer.
Like they think it's a Ouija board.
It's exactly like that. Yeah, it's exactly
really funny
like
how
that.
Seriously, people take it.
So you've got the one big
fun.
all-seeing eye, but there's a lot of other eyes.
The
there
minion.
too.
Little eyes,
Yeah,
$25.
Yeah.
There's
Bigger
one.
eyes,
Oh, I can buy.
$35.
You brought one into the studio.
That's your
It's very
gift.
cool. That's a gift.
That's a gift.
Wow, there are benefits to this gig.
There you
Besides getting to talk to and be with the extraordinary people from this community, which is what K-Squid's all about, is celebrating and highlighting all the wonderful jewels that make up this region. And so we're going to take a short break. This is Talk of the Bay. I'm Christine Barrington, and my guests are Melissa Kreisa, the founder and curator of the wonderful gallery Curated by the Sea, which is on Front Street, downtown, right next to the MAW, and artist Dag Weiser, who's known as the Cardboard Guy. The Cardboard Guy.
Mm-hmm.
Not the dude, not the man, but the Cardboard Guy.
Yeah.
Who has an incredible exhibit right now called the All-Knowing, All-Seeing Eye. And we're going to talk about First Friday and other things right after this short break.
Great.
Thank you.
Let's talk about you now.
I need
like
music.
the
I
like
come
the
home at night, I
music.
turn on the radio. If I'm in a car, I turn on the radio. If I go somewhere, there has to be music
Has to be
playing.
music.
Well, if you feel it and like it, turn it up, up and high, radio.
Catch the new Squid in Town music show every Thursday between 1 and 3 on KSQD Santa Cruz. Always deep fried and on the menu. Tasty.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You're listening to KSQD. Friday nights at 6, it's the Downbeat Shuffle program. Caribbean Basin sounds from the 50s and 60s, only on K-Squid 90.7 FM.
Community radio for the Central Coast, KSQD Santa Cruz.
The eighth wonder of the world!
Welcome back to Talk of the Bay. I'm Christine Barrington, and my guests are Melissa Kreisa from the Curated by the Sea Gallery and Dag Weiser, an artist who has a fabulous exhibition there right now. And but Dag, you have been a part of this art scene for 40 years. Melissa, you've been in and out of the area, but you're really making a mark by highlighting and showcasing the incredible artists of this region. And it's a pretty extraordinary smorgasbord. Santa Cruz is special, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Talk to us about that.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that's the passion. That was the catalyst, like I said, for the gallery is just, I had lived over the hill for 12 years and had been part of the arts community there, working in galleries and helping organize arts events. And so I was familiar with the talent pool that was over here. And then when I moved here, I was just surprised that the limited amount of exhibition space for how much talent there is. So I jumped in with a business partner and opened the gallery and called up a bunch of the artists that I had worked with over the hill and here in Santa Cruz. And we just started and put some art on some walls, and people came in and the excitement started to build. And then that's when everything kind of crashed with the pandemic. But the great thing about that was that I found the space in Santa Cruz. And at first, the 4,600 square feet was intimidating, but it was after I got my momentum going, it was pretty easy to fill the space with the art. So that's exciting. And that is still to this day, my passion is connecting collectors and art lovers with the talent that is here in Santa Cruz and the Bay Area too. I mean, it is primarily the focus is Santa Cruz, but it's also fun to bring in a smattering from the Bay Area too to mix things up. Mm-hmm. And so our next show will be, if I could talk about that for 2 seconds, just it's
take more than two.
It's in partnership with the California Art Club, the Monterey and San Francisco chapter. So it's artists that are part of the region between San Francisco and Pebble Beach. And we did it last year, and it was a really great show. And a lot of painters, really talented painters, a lot of plein air, landscapes type work, a lot of oil painting. But so it'll be a mix of some Santa Cruz artists and Bay Area, and introduce artists that people may not have seen locally either, too. So that'll be fun.
And explain what a juried show is. What makes that special, and why is it important?
Yeah, that's fun. So it's all members of the art club. But inside of that group, then the art club members apply to be part of the show. And we had said in the beginning we could handle about 50 pieces. So that was kind of the cutoff. And I think we got something like 350 all from the art club members, and then just culled it down. There was a little team of us that looked at the art and picked out pieces that we thought would be great for the show. So that's hard.
Is that hard to do?
It's hard to do mostly because it's 2D. You know, you're looking at this online image, and so sometimes you get surprised by the quality of the art is usually not as good, obviously, when you're looking at a 2D image, and then when the art comes in, it's usually a pleasant surprise at how much better it is. So you kind of have to look at the art in 2D and think, okay, is this really the representation of the piece? So yeah, that's hard. And then where you cut it off, you know, how do you cut off you have these pieces but then you also have to look at the show as a whole. You know, do you have 10 pieces that are Point Lobos seashore, and it can't be all the same thing. So
I'm having this image of Paris and the great exhibitions that used to be held there, and even in London, and they were so important. You know, everybody, all the great artists bringing their art around, and people having a chance to look at what other people are doing, and that was how they got educated. And you know, now today we have the internet, but still.
Oh yeah, seeing it in person, there is nothing like it, and this show is perfect for that. I mean, I would encourage artists to come and look at the quality of this work and spend time with the paintings and wonder, you know, consider how they're doing it, look up the artists, come and meet the artists at the openings, and it's going to be a good show. Now, another thing that arises when you talk about this, and whenever I think about this gallery and other galleries and like open studios, is this idea of community. It's really essential, I think, in the world of arts, right? That artists really support each other. And absolutely. Dag, it seems like you understand the power of community. You've been involved in a lot of really interesting activities. So you helped create staging and supported performance artists Teresa Adams and Leslie Swaha of the Moving and Storage Performance Company, and then Crash, Burn, and Die Dance Company. And talk about that a bit. I mean,
that was a very... that was a real productive period in my life. The 90s, you know, it's just, I was involved with two really extraordinary dance companies, performance theater dance companies. And they were drawn to my work because nobody had any money. And so I could make the sets for their out of cardboard. So
indeed,
once again, I was using
cheap, but labor's
cardboard
expensive.
Is cheap. Yeah, well,
are you cheap?
Yeah, I'm really cheap.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
not anymore.
Yeah. I'm cheap with a capital Chi. But that was a lot of fun. I mean, those are great people to work with, and somewhere along the line, I got hip to Melissa's gallery through some mutual friends, and I definitely got the vibe that not only is Melissa a fine artist in her own right, but she really cares about the community. You know, I got that vibe right away.
Aww.
And it's one of the reasons that I've been so open to doing things that I don't.
Being talked into things.
getting talked into stuff.
Coming out of
because,
hiding.
yeah, or just doing stuff that I'm normally uncomfortable with. She's making me feel very comfortable with taking a chance, you know. And I think she does that with a lot of other artists. And
What are you uncomfortable with?
I just really like anonymity. I just like being kind of a...
You're humble.
Just, yeah. For years, I was much more of a guerrilla type artist. I would do pieces, sculptures and stuff. Then I'd like go out to Highway 1 or something and stick it out in a field. Or I've put lots of art out in Lighthouse Field. Just like the idea that random people might see it, you know, for a little while. And I put one really big piece of art out in the what do they call it? The benchlands of next to the river there, and went out early in the morning to watch the sun come up and to see people observe the art. And these city workers came by in a truck, and they were like looking over at this big sculpture out in the middle of the lawn, and they just walked over to it and were looking at it, and then they picked it up and threw it threw it into the back of their truck. So I thought like 2 people saw that. So I just like that. I'm more comfortable with it. I mean, that's what allows me to toss stuff out. You know, that allows me to not be precious about the art.
Yeah. You were a Buddhist monk in a previous life.
I think that's
I'm
probably
feeling really
mandalas.
curious.
Yeah.
And how does being ephemeral about it impact the way you do art? You take a lot of risks, or just
I take a lot of chances. I'm very picky about the ideas that I try to work on. I've got tons of ideas, and if I think it's original and doable, I'll just get immersed in it, and I'll just make it. And and I don't have very strong feelings about showing art or talking about it. It's hard for me to sit here talking about it in some ways, but I have a great time doing it, making it, and I can just get lost in it for days and days and days.
But Dag's also an extraordinary painter, so we have more traditional paint on canvas pieces in the gallery, and we just sold one, a big one.
You just sold one.
And
it kind of blew my mind.
There's a couple. They're really beautiful.
Yeah.
There's even some original Dag Weiser art in the studio with these squids.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Shelves, and you.
Yeah.
We should just mention that you were a DJ here at the beginning, and you used to be at KUSP.
Yeah. I had a great time playing crazy music. I had a show devoted to avant-garde and industrial and outside jazz, and a couple of your other DJs, Howard and Charlie, we'd cross over a little bit with some of the jazz, and I had a great time here playing music. I love the K-Squid.
And you were here like at 2 a.m.
Howard actually gave me some pretty good hours for my music. I think I started at midnight, and I could go as long as I wanted, all the way up to 6 o'clock in the morning, you know.
Take all you want.
Yeah. KUSB was a little different. I think it was 2 to 5 in the morning, something like that. But
brutal.
But
so you stretch your tentacles of creativity into all kinds of areas: stage production, art.
If I have an idea that excites me, I'll learn what I need to learn in order to do it.
Hello, Jesus on the cross.
Yeah, there you go. I took enough bronze classes to make this bronze project that I was really excited to do, and then I took enough ceramics classes to make this one ceramics project, you know, and then that was kind of it for ceramics, and as well as bronze. Once I was through with those, it was just kind of back to the cardboard, you know. But I love to learn that stuff. I love to, you know, it's great time doing that kind of stuff.
Such a talent. He is such a talent.
You're very
multidisciplinary.
kind.
Yeah, you are.
Renaissance
really
artist.
There you go.
Art as a total way of life. Yeah,
Santa Cruz treasure.
Yeah, there you go.
And
sure.
In case you just tuned in and you're wondering what this art banter is all about, this is Talk of the Bay. I'm Christine Barrington, and in the studio with me is Melissa Kreisa. She is an artist, yes, and she also founded and curates this fabulous gallery downtown on Front Street called Curated by the Sea, a 4,600 square foot space filled with the treasures of original creations from artists across the region. And then also we have Dag Weiser, who is an artist who's been in this area for 4 decades, doing all kinds of art, but he's known as the cardboard guy, and he has an exhibition at Curated by the Sea with all kinds of art that you've done, including some of your fantastic cardboard art. And we are just also talking about art in general. And Melissa, I want to also give a chance for you to highlight maybe one of your other shows that are coming up. A very interesting one involving a printmaking. Is it printmaking month?
Yeah, it's Robin Smith and Jane Gregorius have been working with 2 extraordinary local talents also, and Robin is connected here to K-Squid through Gary Shapiro too, which is really fun. And we were just talking about hosting a show. Robin had started a print day in May, kind of a small little opportunity for using social media and word of mouth and networking to encourage artists to go print on a specific day in May and to all kind of be doing it in unison locally, regionally, even globally. And it's turned into a huge phenomenon in the printmaking world. And so we wanted to kind of ride on the coattails of Print Day in May, and we're going to have a show in May and hopefully have some workshops. And both Robin and Jane are educators, and a lot of the printmakers that are involved in the show are printmakers too. So I'm hoping it'll be a beautiful and educational experience.
Now, when you talk about printmaking, is it all kinds of printmaking?
We did. We sat down and we wanted to have multiple mediums reflected in the show. So we went through and brainstormed them. I was talking to an artist yesterday about this, and it's in a way should be called My Favorite Artist. So we brainstormed on printmakers that those guys knew, because I'm not familiar. I'm a painter, and I'm not familiar with the medium, so it's going to be a great learning curve for me too. And I'm not familiar with the community, so I'm the host. And so we sat down and looked through some.
It kind of begs the question of, like, isn't printmaking a threatened art form in this day and age?
I think
Am I
so.
projecting that correctly?
I mean, we'll have to wait and have Robin and Jane on the show to be more subject matter experts than me. But with
because
the
I
history,
have a friend whose cousin teaches silk screening First Fridays on the street in Oakland.
Cool.
Because he's like, it's a dying art. And so he just, kind of does this on the street, and anybody who wants to learn, he shows them how to do it. And
get
so
folks
I was
inspired.
So
Yeah. So that's
incredible.
that's the hope with the show too, is, like I said, to be educational and
Yeah, I don't know if it's
inspirational.
dying as much as it's just very old school. All printmaking is just old techniques. And I think there's a really vibrant printmaking community in in the world. It just
I imagine
but
it has to be. It's such a visceral.
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
but it is very old school, as opposed to digital or it's just its own. And there's some amazing artists coming up in the show.
So really, like, not only are you showcasing art that artists can sell out into the community, but you're also becoming kind of an educational space.
Yeah, I mean, we're still just trying to figure out who we are and what we're going to be and what's sustainable also, But right now, I'm just still kind of running on passion of this sounds like a wonderful thing to do in this space and support of the community. And
I don't know how Melissa does it, actually. I've been associated with the Curated since it first. Wasn't the show I was in? Was that the first show?
It was in the beginning for sure.
One of the first shows.
Beginning in Santa Cruz.
We had a group show there, and
that was such a fun show.
I think when people walk in there now and just see how kind of amazing it is, they don't realize that the amount of work that went into making it the way that it is. Melissa's got
It's
this.
kind of like watching the Olympics, right? You watch those athletes, and they're like, "Oh, that looks so easy. I could do that."
No.
She's just got a gift for
Thank you.
gathering material and talking people and very sweetly talking people into to doing stuff, and it really has turned that place into quite an
Thank you.
amazing gallery. Yeah.
Thank
Right.
you
It's
very much.
it's sort of a grounding anchor in the community.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when it was first up. I mean, you definitely had the impression that it was
Evolving.
evolving. Yeah. I mean, it had evolving kind of written all over it. And now it's like,
We're getting there.
absolutely.
We're almost
Yeah.
there. But
Yeah.
All right. Well, in the couple of minutes that we have left, I want to just maybe invite the two of you to riff on why art matters now more than ever. Because to me, it feels like the world is really changing, and there's all these apps coming out that can mimic all these different styles of art, and things are speeding up and getting faster. And like when I imagine an artist dipping into their medium, thinking about what they're going to create, they really open up into a space that is slow and spacious, and it allows an energy to come through into this world that I think really matters and is really needed.
100%. I think you just got 100% what you just said. And then take Dag toiling away in his studio, trying to create using these tool sets, whether it's paint or cardboard or whatever it is, ceramics, to try to articulate this vision that he has in his head. And he's doing this over in his own space. And then we bring it into the gallery, and then someone walks into the gallery and connects with that piece. That's the magic. And it is that's my rush too. I love that part. Like when someone actually, and then when they open their wallets and pay for the piece, that's the extra.
Yeah,
that's the extra bonus. But
Yeah.
if you just watching folks come in and be inspired and be enriched is amazing.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. The art having value in a basically capitalist dog eat dog society we live in, that trying to create some kind of scenario where an artist has value in that kind of society, and that their art has monetary value as much as any other kind of value, as aesthetic or whatever. It'd just be nice if all artists could make a living being artists. It's tough though. It's a tough thing.
And since speaking of that, before we go, we talked about this before, Melissa, about the Scarf Fund.
Yeah, that was great.
But let's give it another shout out,
Yeah.
because Dag, what you just brought up is really important. The people in our society who create art and who channel these visions into the world, they're very important to our communities. And unfortunately, our government kind of doesn't see it that way. And so we need to support our artists. So could you describe the Scarf Fund?
Yeah, when I met you and we were here before a few months ago, I was with Sarah Friedlander and Rose Sellery, and we talked about the Scarf Fund that Dee Hooker and Sarah had set up many years ago, and that we had taken over this year, done a fundraiser and raised some funds for local artists in need. And we were able to allocate 2/3 of the money that we raised to 2 different artists so far, and we're about to give it out to another artist. Yeah, that's
so cool.
It's really
Yeah, that's
unbelievably it's an honor to be able to be in the middle of all that. So
Right. So we'll just say, if people listening love the arts and want a way to bring relief to an artist who might really have a need, there's this fabulous fund. You can donate to it through the Curated by
through the
Sea
website.
website.
It's tax deductible. We've partnered with a fiscal sponsor in New York to make it so that you get a tax receipt for your donation, and the funds will be distributed as we come across folks in need. And like I said, it's an honor to be
Nice.
part of all that. So,
Yeah,
and we'll
that's great.
continue to do that. It's all just kind of that first run that we had. The first fundraiser that we did was the start of it. We kind of worked it out together, how we were going to do it in the process, and set up the fiscal sponsorship and got the website organized. So now we're kind of ready to go. The next fundraiser, we have to wait and see when we're going to be able to do that. So,
It's
but we
tough.
will do it again.
A lot of artists, not necessarily me, I mean, but they value their work as rightly as they should. But and there's this really weird crossover between how an artist values their work monetarily, and what the public is can be expected to pay for that. That's always been an issue with me. Is I don't know if it's just because it's cardboard or something, but I don't put a ton of value on the art, and I commiserately I don't charge a lot for it. So I think that helps a little bit with my stuff. People feel comfortable.
Dag, do you produce gateway art?
What
it's
is
like gateway? Like marijuana is like the gateway.
There we go. Yeah.
That eyeball right there,
yeah.
$25.
I
to
do
the
now.
harder stuff.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a great
There you go,
idea. Yeah.
Take
I'm
an eyeball.
going to work
home
with that.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's wrap up our segment. I've got a short segment from Suki Vesling after this, but describe First Friday tomorrow night. It's going to be really fun.
It will be 6 to 8 p.m. Dag will be there. So the other artists will be there. We will also have live music from a local folk band. They're super sweet out of Bonnie Doon called Wonderstill. And they've played a couple First Fridays now that have been just really delightful. People are dancing and singing, and it's really fun. So 6 to 8 p.m. tomorrow night at Curated by the Sea.
Yeah. Come on downtown and you can enjoy all kinds of art.
Good parking.
All over downtown.
It's supposed to be a nice evening too. So
yeah, and
luckily.
ask a
Thank goodness.
question of the all-seeing, all-knowing eye.
Lynn's-
All right, thank you for coming in. All right, we'll be back right after this short break.